This is Callum Ridgeway from the Boswells School, tour party leader of our trip to Porto this year. Question 1. What did the trip involve?
So the trip for us involved 4 training sessions. We flew out on a Saturday quite early and had 4 training sessions, and all the boys had 1 game, although we had 3 games together because we had 3 age groups. It involved some extra-curricular things, in such as we had a tour of the Porto Stadium. We went to watch Braga versus Maritimo. We had a bit of free time at the hotel to do some beach football, and finished with a closing ceremony back at the stadium.
Why did you choose this trip?
I was recommended this trip from a rep at Inspire Sport. His name's Jonathan Young. He led our last trip to Espanyol in 2015. When we set up our new one in 2016, he recommended strongly the Porto trip because he said the overall student experience as a young footballer is phenomenal. He didn't talk about any others as enthusiastically or as freely as the Porto tour. So from the very beginning, he made clear that this was the best one, and obviously we've had a phenomenal time.
How did the football club ensure the activities were suitable for all abilities?
So before we even got out to Portugal, I had to give some assessments of our players. They were given scores based for their technical and their tactical abilities. Those scores were given to the Porto staff so that they could see what they were working with beforehand. I also had to give a level for the team overall, so that they could see who was going to be the good players or the weaker players, and as an overall team they could find another team that would match up very closely against our boys. When we got here, the coaches were excellent. They spoke incredibly good English. They were really enthusiastic. They got stuck in with the boys. The drills that they led were really good. We've now got some resources on the back of this week that mean that we can take those drills back home. No job was too small or too little. If we wanted to change something, if they had any issues, they were very friendly. If we wanted to have any input, they just were happy for us to get on with it. I think that's probably pretty comprehensive.
What do you think were some of the main highlights of the trip?
So from a personal point of view, to start with, the training sessions were good. The matches were fantastic. I think the stadium tour to Braga was really good. It's a shame we couldn't come to see a game at Porto, but the Braga Maritimo game was fantastic. The free time was really good. The boys really appreciate the free time, especially when we got to go down the beach and use the facilities. From the boys' perspective, I would think that they will go home and say that this was absolutely amazing. The training sessions were very enjoyable for them. They had good levels of fun. They will all say they enjoyed the coaches. They will all say that they love the activities. The food was really good. Normally boys can be quite picky with the food, but the food for breakfast, lunch and dinner was excellent. The lunches provided by Porto were all player friendly, so they were very carbohydrate and protein based. The overall package for the boys was exceptional, and they will have loved this week.
How did the students respond to the trip?
Really well. We had a couple of issues on our end in terms of behaviour, but that's certainly got nothing to do with any of the staff or with any of the organisation for the trip. We haven't got many complaints at all. I can't think of anything apart from maybe 1 or 2 minor issues where we've got any problems. So I would think the boys will have enjoyed it. We are happy with how it's gone and what's been done. But at the same time, any issues have been sort of from our end, certainly not from the boys' end.
Do you organise many trips abroad?
This is my 4th trip organising abroad. I've done 2 football tours and 2 ski trips. I picked up a ski trip for another company that we don't use anymore, because we're now going to go with Inspire Ski on the back of the fantastic tour that we had last time with Espanol 2 years ago, we will 100% be booking up with Inspire Sport again for 2019. You don't change a winning formula, and you've done brilliant tours for us. So.
What do you find one of the benefits of going abroad for a trip are?
The students get to see a little bit more of the world. Quite a few of our boys had never been away before from their parents, so they learn to be a little bit more independent. They get a little bit more of a social aspect in terms of how you speak to people, how you treat people. They get to find some different cultural things in terms of how we walk around Porto and how we speak to their staff, and the sayings they have, and the games they play, and the way they do things. So that was really a massive benefit. The football, in terms of different culture, they get a lot of me back home in terms of football training at school, so it's nice for them to come away and see a different style of play. If we went to St George's Park in England, say, which is a trip I know Inspire Sport do, then it would be very, very similar to what they already know. But coming to Portugal, they do some things that are still quite familiar, but are done in a different context, a different environment, and yeah, it encourages the students to be a little bit more well-rounded by going abroad.
What would you say to teachers who are considering a trip with Inspire Sport?
One, they are absolutely fantastic. We've done 2 trips with them now. We'll be going again for our next football tour. We are already booked up with Inspire Ski for our ski trip. And in particular, I would recommend that they get the opportunity to speak to somebody from their staff, because you only have to speak to somebody for a few minutes and you know exactly what they're talking about. Like I say, the trip has been fantastic, and we're really, really happy.